10% of AMD stock if certain performance targets are hit. The arrangement mirrors one that AMD struck with OpenAI last year under similar terms.
How everybody doing?
7% of the news.
Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. I know I haven't been live or even been posting videos, anything like that, because I notice sometimes life be lifing. Too tired to really do anything,
There are police reported ahead.
So, but I hope everybody's doing good. I hope your families are all right, and overall, people are all right.
Merz says he wants to deepen economic ties with China, which was Germany's biggest trading partner last year. US President Donald Trump has claimed the US is bigger, better, richer and stronger than ever in his State of the Union address, the longest in American history. The president defended his policies, vowing to continue an immigration crackdown and praising US military action against Iran and Venezuela. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has given the AI company Anthropic a Friday deadline to allow the US military to have full access to its AI model or face cuts of up to $200 million in government contracts. Hegseth reportedly demanded the company drop its safeguards. Anthropic has restricted military use of its AI. This is DW News from Berlin. There's a lot more news on our website, dw.com. This is DW News, and these are our top stories. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has held talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing on his first visit to China since taking office. Xi told Merz he wants to take ties with Germany to, quote, a new level. Merz says he wants to deepen economic ties with China, which was Germany's biggest trading partner last year. US President Donald Trump has claimed the US is bigger, better, richer and stronger than ever in his State of the Union address, the longest in American history. The president defended his policies, vowing to continue an immigration crackdown and praising US military action against Iran and Venezuela. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has given the AI company Anthropic a Friday deadline to allow the US military to have full access to its AI model or face cuts of up to $200 million in government contracts. Hegseth reportedly demanded the company drop its safeguards. Anthropic has restricted military use of its AI. This is DW News from Berlin. There's a lot more news on our website, dw.com.
I'm Mackenzie Sagalos, and this is your CNBC Tech Check briefing. Chipmaker AMD and social media giant Meta have signed a deal in which Meta will deploy up to 6 gigawatts of AMD's GPUs to power its AI data centers. The agreement also gives Meta the right to buy up to 10% of AMD stock if certain performance targets are hit. The arrangement mirrors one that AMD struck with OpenAI last year under similar terms. AMD's share price jumped 7% on the news, while Meta's traded slightly lower. Meanwhile, Anthropic announced a slew of new integrations with enterprise software companies, including Google, DocuSign, and FactSet, aiming to position itself as a collaborator rather than a disruptor. The news sent shares of several partners higher, with Thomson Reuters, Salesforce, and Spotify all popping on the announcement. And finally, Google announced its plans to build a data center in a small Minnesota town about 70 miles southeast of Minneapolis. It faces community opposition, but has the support of the city council. Google says it will pay for any electric grid infrastructure needed for the project, and that it won't saddle local ratepayers with additional costs. That's all for today. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
#Trending would like to thank Meter for their support in bringing you this podcast. Meter delivers a complete networking stack, wired, wireless, and cellular, in one integrated solution that's built for performance and scale. You can find them at meter.com/HTT. Dario Amodei says Claude 1 was built before OpenAI launched ChatGPT, but never released. Anthropic, the stock crusher no one saw coming, and MIT prints a fully functional electric motor in one step. A step that could be the ChatGPT moment for manufacturing. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. If you saw the recent photo from the AI event in India that happened last week, you probably noticed something small but telling. There were around 18 tech leaders who stood on the stage with their hands raised, most of them clasping the hands of the person beside them in a show of unity. They sort of looked like they were going to take a bow. But two of those people did not clasp hands. Dario Amodei and Sam Altman both had their hands in the air, but they weren't, unlike everyone else, holding on to each other's hands. Now, this might seem like nothing, but after hearing Amodei's recent podcast interview, the distance makes more sense. In that interview, the Anthropic CEO reflected on his time at OpenAI, and he made clear that concerns about scaling and safety were already serious well before the public leadership turmoil in 2023. He described disagreements over how quickly powerful models should be deployed and how governance should evolve as capabilities increased, and the eventual split that led to Anthropic wasn't sudden. It had philosophical roots. One of the more striking revelations, Claude 1 was actually built but never released before ChatGPT 2. Amodei had said the model didn't meet Anthropic's internal bar for alignment and safety, and he was concerned about starting an arms race. At a time when the industry was accelerating rapidly, Anthropic chose not to ship. That's not a small decision, and it might have cost them the leadership in AI. That's quite a price to pay for your principles. It also reframes the Anthropic OpenAI rivalry. Claude wasn't conceived simply as a competitor to ChatGPT. It was part of an effort to build a different governance structure, one that was designed to reduce the risk that commercial pressure would overwhelm safety commitments. So it turns out the real tension in AI may not be model versus model. It might be speed versus restraint, at least initially. There have been criticisms of Amodei and Anthropic as time went on, and maybe they didn't want to miss that window yet again. As these systems grow more capable, the divide may matter more than who holds hands on stage. We'll post the full interview in our new Best of YouTube page at technewsday.com or technewsday.ca. For a company that many still think of as the smaller AI competitor, Anthropic has been shaking markets with uncanny force. 3 recent product pushes, Claude Cowork, Claude Code Security, and tools aimed at legacy computing like Claude for COBOL, all hit major tech and software stocks hard in a short span. Anthropic's new Claude Cowork platform lets users deploy AI agents into specific knowledge-intensive tasks, everything from contract review in law to structured workflows in enterprise settings. That announcement alone was enough to have an incredible impact on the stock market. Investors treated it as a threat to established SaaS revenue models, and software indices weakened sharply as a result. But Anthropic didn't stop there. This week, it announced additional integrations designed to embed Claude directly into office productivity environments, including things like Google Docs, extending the agent model deeper into everyday enterprise workflows. That matters, because once AI moves from being a chatbot to becoming part of document creation, review, compliance, and even collaboration systems, it stops being an experimentation and starts looking like an infrastructure. Then came the security shock. Claude Code Security, a feature that uses the Claude model to scan code bases for vulnerabilities, triggered a sell-off in cybersecurity stocks. Stocks of major defenders like CrowdStrike and Zscaler dropped around 10 to 11% after the tool was revealed. And other security names also slid as traders weighed in with the implications of a powerful AI scanning code at scale. And if that weren't enough, Anthropic announced using Claude-powered tooling to automate parts of COBOL modernization, and that sent ripples through the hardware and software world. IBM's shares plunged more than 13%, the steepest single-day decline in over 25 years, after the market interpreted the tool's potential as a threat to a core part of IBM's legacy business. That drop alone erased tens of billions of dollars in market value. And the impact may extend well beyond IBM. While the tech conversation is focused on SaaS, cloud platforms, and now AI startups, there's an enormous portion of government
There are police reported ahead.
that is still running on aging, monolithic COBOL mainframe systems. In the US, for example, 95% of ATM transactions are supported by COBOL systems. There's also Social Security and other huge financial systems. In Canada, major government systems are on ancient COBOL giants in the federal and the provincial level. The maintenance, the patching, and the eventual needed modernization of those systems represent work worth billions, possibly, and I don't think it's an exaggeration, even over trillions of dollars worldwide. If AI meaningfully automates maintenance or accelerates code conversion, this isn't going to pressure just one company's stock. It's going to challenge the entire outsourcing and legacy modernization ecosystems as well. What ties these events together isn't just volatility. It's the sense that Anthropic's advances, especially where they're automating high-value professional, security, and legacy enterprise work, are triggering investors to reassess which revenue streams are durable in an AI-first world. And in the security, support, and other enterprises, there are probably board meetings that are doing exactly the same thing for these companies that supply these services and products. It may be the smallest of the big foundation model companies, but the past 2 weeks have shown it can't be ignored. It punches way above its weight. And it may be calling attention to the fact we're in the middle of a transformation that I think very few people or companies or governments actually understand the impact of. Speaking of having an impact in transforming an industry, MIT researchers say they've developed a 3D printing process capable of producing a fully functional electric motor in a single manufacturing step. It sounds simple, but it's a little bigger than that. According to reporting from Thomson,
There are police reported ahead.
in one intercess. The only step required afterwards was magnetizing the motor. Traditionally, electric motors are complex to make. They require multiple materials, separate fabrication stages, precise winding of copper coils, laminated cores, and of course, careful assembly. This approach collapses much of that complexity into one print job. And the reported material cost? About 50 cents per motor. That figure refers to materials in lab setting, not full commercial production costs. But even if this was just at prototype scale, the implication is significant. Electric motors are everywhere. Robotics, medical devices, consumer electronics, industrial automation. They're among the most common.
US 29 North.
Piece by piece. Manufacturing changes. And if you can print something that complex, integrating multiple materials, conductive paths, and moving components, it raises a bigger question. What can't you make this way? If a motor is printable, what other parts of today's supply chains
There are police reported ahead.
to be redesigned for print? And the bigger story may not be the motor itself. It's the shift in manufacturing logic. There will still be capital costs and maintenance, but if a functional motor truly can be done automatically, requiring only 50 cents worth of materials, that has the power to disrupt labor, manufacturing economics in general, and to compress supply chains in ways we can only just imagine. And that's our show. Once again, we'd like to thank Meter for their support in bringing you this podcast. Meter delivers full-stack networking infrastructure, wired, wireless, and cellular to leading enterprises. Working with their partners, Meter designs, deploys
In half a mile, take exit 41 for US 29 North.
connectivity into space. They design the hardware, the firmware, they build the software, they manage deployments, and they run support. It's a single integrated solution that scales from branch offices to warehouses and large campuses to data centers.
Take exit 41. Then you'll take the US 27 alternate north, US 29 north ramp to Coweta County Fairgrounds.
I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a wonderful Wednesday.
Take the US 27 alternate north ramp. Then at the next light, you'll turn left. At the light, turn left onto US 27 alternate north, US 29 north.
This episode is brought to you by Upwork. Scaling a business takes the right expertise at the right time, which is why you need Upwork. Upwork helps growing teams quickly bring in specialized freelancers so you can move faster and take your business to the next level. You'll save so much time because Upwork is a one-stop platform to find, hire, and pay expert freelancers across web and software development, data and analytics, marketing, business operations, and more. Plus, it's free to sign up. Here's what I like about Upwork. It meets you wherever you are in your hiring journey and eliminates all of the headaches. Let Upwork help you delegate so you can stay focused on what you do best. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That is Upwork.com to connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
YouTube's beefing up its $7.99 a month light subscription. I'm Imran Sheikh, and your Daily Crunch for Wednesday, featuring 3 big tech headlines. It starts right now. Right off the bat, it looks like Instagram is expanding its Instagram for TV app to Google TV devices in the good old USA 2 months after its debut on Amazon Fire TV in December. Now, the app first launched as a way to expand Reels viewing beyond mobile, and now users can also browse posts from their Instagram feeds directly on their TVs. By bringing Reels to TVs, Instagram's looking to better compete with good old YouTube, which largely dominates the TV space. Instagram likely wants viewers to switch to its TV app while watching content on the couch, similar to flipping through TV channels. And not to be left out, Instagram's old rival TikTok also has a TV app. Now, the new app's personalized to each user as it shows Reels based on the content and creators they enjoy on the Instagram app. Reels are organized into channels and categories based on topics such as comedy, music, and lifestyle. No word yet on any Knight Rider categories. Reels play automatically, which means you won't have to keep scrolling to watch the next video. The Instagram for TV app lets you like, view comments, and reshare Reels as well. Users can pair the app with their Instagram app and add up to 5 accounts all in one home. Or, well, they can choose to create a new account just for the TV. Remember Twitch? Well, it announced on Tuesday that it's revamping its suspensions policy to shift away from its previous all-or-nothing penalty system. You see, until now, a temporary suspension on Twitch meant losing access to the platform altogether, including the ability to chat, watch streams while logged in, and access basic information. Well, now, the company is implementing 2 suspension types, streaming suspensions and chatting suspensions. The company notes that while its previous approach was easier to implement, its new targeted enforcement system means that the restrictions will match the specific offense committed. So, if a user violates Twitch's community guidelines during a live stream, their account will be suspended from going live, and chat on their channel will be temporarily disabled. During a streaming suspension, the user can still watch streams while logged in, chat on other channels, and access their user dashboard. Plus, viewers will still be able to watch their existing clips and videos. And if someone violates the company's community guidelines in chat, you can see where this is going, they'll receive a suspension from chat, but will still be able to stream their own content or watch other streamers. Now, notably, users who receive a chat suspension can still chat in their own channel, but they will be prevented from participating in chats on other streams. Twitch isn't changing the length of temporary suspensions, as streaming and chatting suspensions will still last anywhere from 24 hours to 30 days. The company says that with each new violation, the length of the suspension will increase, and that accumulating multiple temporary suspensions can still lead to an indefinite suspension from Twitch. Twitch determines the severity of a violation by considering the extent of harm it causes or has the potential to cause, and it defines harm as any action that leads to physical, emotional, social, or financial damage to a user or to Twitch. Plus, the company is working on additional suspension types that'll roll out in future updates. Looks like YouTube's expanding its more affordable $7.99 per month premium light subscription service with new features, including the ability to download videos for offline access and watch videos in the background, even if the screen is off or you're using other apps. These options were previously only available to customers on its full plan, which cost $13.99 per pack, as customers in its pilot program shared that they, wanted these specific features to make the subscription more attractive. Launched all the way back in the halcyon days of March 2025, YouTube Premium Lite introduced a more modestly priced subscription tier that would remove ads from most videos on the platform, including those across popular verticals like gaming, fashion, beauty, cooking, news, and more. However, ads would continue to be shown on music content and music videos, so take that. Plus, customers on the Lite plan won't have access to the ad-free YouTube Music app. With the arrival of these new features, ad-free music content will now be the only reason to upgrade to the full premium subscription. It'll also likely make the Lite tier more attractive to customers who didn't want to pay just for ad-free content but wanted other upgrades as well. The Lite subscription tier was first introduced in Thailand, Germany, and Australia before coming to the good old US of A last year. It's now available across a number of other global markets, including Canada, Brazil, the UK, India, Mexico, and other parts of Europe and Asia. YouTube's subscription business has been steadily growing. Combined with ads, YouTube's overall revenue reached $60 billion in 2025, according to information shared by parent company Alphabet earlier this month during Q4 earnings. Well, folks, that's your Daily Crunch. Today's stories were reported by Sarah Perez, Aisha Malik, and more awesome TechCrunch journalists. We'll see you here tomorrow, same tech time, same Crunch channel, and until then, find us at TechCrunch.com.
This episode is brought to you by Factor. You want to make healthy food choices, but figuring out what to eat can be tough. So let Factor...
In half a mile, use the left 2 lanes to take a slight left onto Clark Street.
There's no refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, and no refined seed oils. Looking for a high-protein choice? How about the cheddar and poblano shredded beef bowl? Or maybe a keto-friendly meal of grilled filet mignon and creamy Parmesan shrimp? The food is fresh, never frozen, which will be super obvious when you taste how good these meals are. It's pretty awesome, too, that they're ready in about 2 minutes. And me is that I won't be standing in front of the refrigerator trying to figure out what to fix for dinner. These are meals that will fit your nutrition goals and your schedule. Head to factormeals.com/EngadgetNext50off and use code EngadgetNext50off to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. Eat like a pro this month with Factor. New subscribers only, varies by plan. One free breakfast item per box for 1 year while subscription is active.
The creators of Dark Sky have a new weather app. We'll talk more about it in moments, but first, if you're using an Android phone, finding the right pair of wireless earbuds can take a little more work than it does for
Take a slight left onto Clark Street.
AirPods are tightly woven into iOS, but that same level of seamless integration doesn't automatically carry over to Android. The good news is there are plenty of earbuds that play just as nicely with Android devices, and in some cases, offer features AirPods simply don't. From earbuds designed to pair especially well with Samsung Galaxy and Google Pixel phones, to models that prioritize strong noise cancellation, long battery life, or workout-friendly durability, the Android ecosystem has no shortage of solid options. We've tested a wide range of wireless earbuds to find the best picks for Android users, whether you're after premium sound, reliable everyday performance, or a more affordable alternative. Check out the list of the best earbuds for Android devices in 2026 right now at Engadget.com. And nothing has been slow-dripping news about the upcoming Phone 4a for a few days now, with a promise to reveal the handset on March 5th. However, the company jumped the gun a bit and just posted an actual photo of the hardware. It looks pretty nifty, even if we don't have any real deal specs just yet. The image shows the handset from behind, displaying the company's trademark transparent design. The picture also features the redesigned Glyph bar, which was first teased last week. This is a light-based notification system that features individually controlled mini LEDs that light up in various ways to notify the user of missed calls and stuff like that. You can spot it next to the camera bump. That's about all we know right now, though there are plenty of industry rumors. It's been reported that the Nothing Phone 4a will feature a Snapdragon 7 series chip, and that the reveal will be accompanied by a Pro model with a more powerful camera. The Nothing Phone 3a was also launched alongside the 3a Pro. We loved the 3a and 3a Pro, calling both an easy recommendation.
At the next light, turn left.
Also, you didn't miss a release of the actual Nothing Phone 4. The company likes to release the A-series handsets before the flagship, passed as prologue.
At the light, turn left onto Georgia 70 North, Roscoe Road.
News, reviews, price drops, and more right now at Engadget.com.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
The team behind the beloved Dark Sky Weather app has announced a new iPhone app called Acme Weather. The release comes after Apple's 2020 acquisition of Dark Sky, which it ultimately shut down in 2022 after integrating much of its tech into the native iOS weather app. Acme Weather is primarily designed to address the uncertainty inherent in most forecasts, as different models yield disparate results, and no two weather apps seem to report the same thing. Acme's answer to this issue is alternative predictions, which shows users a range of possible outcomes alongside the app's core forecast line throughout the day. If the lines are arranged together tightly, it means the app has high confidence in the forecast at that time. When those lines start to diverge, the app is signaling lower confidence while showing users alternative predictions for that time of day. The app also supports community reporting, seeking to do for weather what Waymo did for traffic. Users can share real-time conditions in their area using icons or emojis, helping increase accuracy when conditions are changing quickly. Like most weather apps, there is also a map component with layers for radar, lightning, rain and snow totals, wind, and more. Thanks for listening to the show. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Today's show featured journalism by Gadget contributors Lawrence Bonk and Andre Revilla and was produced by Spoken Layer. I'm Imran Sheikh, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
Spoken Layer.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But here's a big one you need to hear. Billions. That's the amount of money in refunds the IRS has flagged for possible identity fraud. Now here's another big number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. Control.
It's no use putting it off. The best time for an refresh is now. Tommy John underwear is designed for a perfect fit that stays put all day. There's zero chafe thanks to 4 times more stretch than competing brands. And their innovative horizontal quick drop fly is a game changer. With over 30 million pairs sold, there are thousands of men out there more comfortable than you. Don't settle for less. Go to TommyJohn.com today for 25% off your first order with code COMFORT. That's TommyJohn.com, code COMFORT. Tommy John. Comfort perfected.
Welcome to SciTech Brief, your snapshot of science, technology, and digital culture.
This is The Brief on China's Shenlong spaceplane. So, earlier in 2026, China quietly launched a robotic spacecraft called Shenlong, or Divine Dragon, for its 4th mission. And honestly, the total secrecy around it is causing some major international speculation. First, let's look at its design and endurance. You can kind of think of it as a mystery twin to the US military's X-37B. It's basically a 30-foot-long unmanned mini shuttle that blasts off on a rocket but lands on a runway. Beijing has literally never released a single official photo, but we do know it has serious staying power. I mean, its first mission was just 2 days, but recent flights have lasted over 270 days, proving it can loiter in orbit for months. Second, we've got to talk about a unique capability that is defense analysts sweating: rendezvous and proximity operations. Basically, unlike the US version, Shenlong has been caught releasing these little wing and satellites and then actually maneuvering to capture or dock with them. So why does this matter? Well, it's dual-use tech. You could use it peacefully satellites or clean up debris, but it absolutely implies the ability to tamper with or disable an adversary spacecraft. So here is the bottom line. Shenlong is a testbed for reusable space technology that's actively mastering the strategic ability to physically interact with other objects in orbit. And, the absolute silence from Beijing suggests this dragon is doing way more than just flying in circles.
That's today's SciTech Brief. Short, smart, and straight to the point. If you want to listen to previous episodes, you'll find them on Spotify.
Guys, it's no use putting it off. The best time for an underwear refresh is now. Tommy John underwear is designed for a perfect fit that stays put all day. There's zero chafe thanks to 4 times more stretch than competing brands. And on a quick drop fly is a game changer. With over 30 million pairs sold, there are thousands of men out there more comfortable than you. Don't settle for less. Go to TommyJohn.com today for 25% off your first order with code COMFORT. That's TommyJohn.com, code COMFORT. Tommy John. Comfort perfected.
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. Victory Lane? Yeah, it's even better with Chumba by my side. Race to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T&Cs. 21 plus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
Hey, it's Jen Lehner of FrontRowAIClub.com, and this is your Front Row Entrepreneur flash briefing for Wednesday, February 25th. Anthropic has expanded Claude Cowork with a major batch of updates aimed at making it a true enterprise productivity platform. The biggest additions are industry-specific plugins covering HR, finance, legal, design, engineering, investment banking, and more. that you can deploy pre-built or build from scratch. It now works across Excel and PowerPoint, carrying context between apps so Claude remembers what you're working on when you switch. Admins can set global instructions to define tone, format, and role, making Claude feel less like a chatbot and more like a collaborator already inside your workflow.
Just a quick break to remind you to stay on top of AI news, subscribing to the world's best weekly AI newsletter, the Front Row AI Report at frontrowaireport.com. Now, back to the news with Jen.
Google Labs has added a new AI music generator called Producer AI, designed to help you create original tracks with prompts and editing tools. Google Workspace is introducing new cartoon-style avatars in Google Vids, giving you more visual options when creating video presentations. The feature allows you to personalize AI-generated video content with animated characters, adding another layer of customization to your business communication and storytelling. As you plan your content for tomorrow, keep in mind that it's National Letter to an Elder Day, Tell a Fairy Tale Day, and National Carpe Diem Day. Trending all across social media right this very second is hashtag National Clam Chowder Day, hashtag Pink Shirt Day, and hashtag Let's All Eat Right Day. That's it for today's flash briefing. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.
Xfinity Tech Support, thanks for holding.
Hi, so I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, with Xfinity Wi-Fi, you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Xfinity internet required. Restrictions apply.
Here's your afternoon TNB Tech Minute for Tuesday, February 24th. I'm Julie Chang for the Wall Street Journal. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has given Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei until Friday to comply with the Pentagon's demands on using its AI models or face cancellation of the company's contract. People familiar with the matter say the ultimatum came at a Pentagon meeting today that ended in a stalemate. Axios previously reported on today's meeting. If Anthropic doesn't show more flexibility working with the military, Hegseth said he could label the company a supply chain risk or invoke the Defense Production Act to essentially force the company to work more collaboratively with the Pentagon. Stripe is seeing more successful and high-growth businesses join the platform. That's according to their shareholder letter. The payment processing platform says that new companies join Stripe and that this cohort is growing around 50% for cohort. It said the number of companies reaching $10 million in. It attributes that growth partly to advancements, easier to build apps and code. The number of iOS apps released in December rose 60% year over year, while code writing platform GitHub saw its uploads jump 41% between the third quarters of 2024 and of 2025. And Chinese auto giant BYD logged a nearly threefold increase in European sales last month, topping more than 18,000 new car registrations. That's up from nearly 6,900 in January last year, according to the European Automobile Manufacturers Association. Car registrations for Tesla sliding 17% to just under 8,100 units in January. Plus, European car makers Volkswagen, BMW, and Renault also reported sales declines. And that's it for your TNB Tech Minutes. Check back tomorrow morning for another tech update.
Xfinity Tech Support, thanks for holding.
Hi, so I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, with Xfinity Wi-Fi, you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speed and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Xfinity internet required. Restrictions apply.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is threatening to blacklist Anthropic from working with the U.S. military for refusing to loosen safety standards. The Trump administration says it is giving Anthropic until this Friday, to agree to new terms on a $200 million defense contract with the AI firm. That threat came today in a meeting between Hegseth and top officials from Anthropic, and it comes as Trump officials seek to root out what they are calling woke AI across the federal government. NPR's Bobby Allen is here to explain. Hey, Bobby.
Hey, Mary Louise.
So this all sounds tense today. What exactly happened?
Yeah, as you mentioned, Hegseth gave Anthropic a deadline on Friday to agree to these new terms, or the administration will retaliate. And that's according to two people from not authorized to speak publicly. And Mary Louise, this threat is a really big deal because Anthropic's Claude chatbot was approved as the first AI system that could be used in classified networks. That was last summer, and since then there's been an escalating standoff between Trump officials and Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei, who has drawn two red lines saying that he will not cross. The first is that, AI will not be used. His AI will not be used in domestic mass surveillance. And the second is that AI-assisted weapons like autonomous armed drones will not be used with Anthropic systems. And Hegseth has bristled at these red lines.
And you said that the Trump administration says it will retaliate? What exactly does that mean?
So initially, Anthropic thought the administration was going to cancel its $200 million contract unless it agreed to these new terms. But now a top Pentagon official has said, no, if Anthropic does not agree, it will just compel the company to allow the military tools under something called the Defense Production Act. Then it says it will designate Anthropic a supply chain risk. So in sum, the White House is saying, we will use your technology regardless of what you want, but we also will prevent you from getting future work with the military.
Okay, so how far outside of the norm in the industry are Anthropic's guidelines? How does it compare with other AI companies?
They're an outlier here. Its major rivals, Google, OpenAI, xAI, have all said they will abide by the administration's requirement that AI can be used in any and all lawful circumstances. But Anthropic's Amodei says he will not buckle under administration pressure. Last month, he wrote an essay spelling all of this out, where he said AI companies should resist attempts by government to use AI for things like spying, propaganda, and warfare. Amodei wrote, quote, "My main fear is having too small a number of fingers on the button such that one or a handful of people could essentially operate a drone army without needing any humans to cooperate to carry out their orders."
To which the Pentagon is saying what?
The Pentagon says in order to lead tactical operations, AI systems cannot have exceptions, right? And that it would only ever use AI in quote-unquote lawful orders. Any resistance to this has been labeled woke AI, which, is kind of a fuzzy term, but Trump officials are using it to describe any safety guardrail it considers burdensome.
Well, and if the Trump administration follows through on these threats and retaliation, what does that do to Anthropic as a company?
Anthropic's Amodei has made a point of saying it's not going to do very much, and that is because most of its business is B2B, so enterprise business. It doesn't really rely on government work as much as some other rivals. But this is worth noting here, Mary Louise, that this all comes at a time when Anthropic is under a lot of scrutiny since the company is planning to go public this year. So it is unclear how this friction with the administration will sit with investors.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thanks, Mary Louise.
NPR's Bobby Allen.
Cybersecurity Today would like to thank Meter for their support in bringing you this podcast. Meter delivers a complete networking stack, wired, wireless, and cellular in one integrated solution that's built for performance and scale. You can find them at meter.com/CST. Discord finds that age identification code may have privacy concerns after all. SolarWinds ServeView file sharing has some critical flaws. Splunk Enterprise for Windows privilege escalation vulnerability is exposed, and smart TV makers are sued over alleged screenshot surveillance. This is Cybersecurity Today. I'm your host, Jim Love. It turns out sometimes that the crowd is right and just paranoid. Discord has apparently ended its partnership with identity verification provider Persona after a wave of backlash from users who question how much data was really being collected. And Persona, which counts Peter Thiel's Founders Fund among its investors, had been working with Discord on an age verification system designed to comply with tightening online safety regulations. Discord's message to its users was, don't panic. The tool was limited, secure, and primarily processed on the user's devices. And Ultimately, though, facing a real backlash of people who may just not trust Peter Thiel, Discord relented and said their experiment was over. Later, researchers examining Persona's publicly accessible front-end code found evidence of far more extensive functionality than Discord thought was there, or that Discord reported was there. They reported that the system could perform up to 269 separate verification checks, including watch list screening and risk scoring. That discovery triggered immediate concerns that the program went well beyond simple age confirmation. This came against a backdrop of the earlier third-party breach involving Discord's verification process that exposed government ID images for thousands of users. So trust with the users was already thin, but it turns out it might have been for the best. As we noted, Discord has now abandoned its experiment with Persona and delayed parts of its broader age verification rollout, saying it will offer alternative methods and improve transparency. There's a real policy tension here. Governments are pushing platforms to verify ages and protect minors, a good thing. But
At the next stop sign, turn left. At the stop sign, turn left onto South Fulton Parkway.
Users are going to push back hard. And again, that might be a good thing. As the old saying goes, you aren't paranoid if they really are out to get you. Another file-sharing software risk has surfaced, this time in SolarWinds Serve-U. SolarWinds pushed out Serve-U 15.5.4 on February 24th to patch 4 critical remote code execution vulnerabilities, each scoring 9.1, that's critical on CVSS. The flaws are CVE 2025-40538, CVE 2025-40539, CVE 2025-4540, and CVE 2025-40541. Two details matter for defenders. First, SolarWinds says these bugs require high privileges on the Serve-U server already, which means the most realistic scenario is chaining. Stolen admin credentials, an earlier foothold, or a separate privilege escalation, and then using Serve-U to go straight to root or admin level code execution. Second, Serve-U is self-hosted, Windows and Linux software, not a cloud service that auto-patches for you, so you only get protected when you actually upgrade. We saw two numbers, Shodan tracking over 12,000 internet-exposed Serve-U servers, while Shadow Server was estimating fewer than 1,200. Either way, that's a significant attack 10.0 on the CVSS scale, which is a high. The issue arises from incorrect permissions assigned to the installation directory during setup or upgrades in versions earlier than 10.0.2 or 9.4.6 or 9.3.8 and even 9.2.10. That misconfiguration can allow a low-privileged user to read or write files they shouldn't be able to touch, and under the right conditions, escalate to higher system privileges. Well, this isn't a remote exploit. It's a real concern for environments where attackers might already have footholds. Once a local account can manipulate the Splunk installation directory, elevation of privileges becomes a path adversaries can exploit to disrupt logging, tamper with data, or move more deeply into a network. Splunk has published patches. Administrators should ensure their enterprise servers on Windows are running 10.0.2 or newer, and the equivalent fix builds in the 9.x line. Finally, from the living room to the screen in your boardroom, new privacy concerns from monitors and TV screens. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has filed lawsuits against Samsung, Sony, LG, Hisense, and TCL, alleging that their smart TVs use automated content recognition, or ACR, to capture images of what users are watching and transmit that data without meaningful consent. According to the complaints, the technology may sample screen content as frequently as twice per second, which, if you do the math, is as many as 7,200 captures per hour. Whether described as screenshots or digital content fingerprints, the implication is the same, that television or the large monitor isn't just displaying content, it's analyzing it and sending it somewhere. ACR can identify programming across streaming apps, cable feeds, even HDMI inputs. That means a Netflix stream at home or a laptop connected during a confidential strategy meeting could be subject to analysis for advertising or profiling purposes. Now, the lawsuit argues consumers were not clearly informed about the scale of this collection. And most smart TVs allow ACR to be disabled under settings labeled Viewing Information Services, Live Plus, or similar terms. But hey, defaults matter. You should be turning this on, not having to turn it off. And in many corporate environments, as well as home environments, these displays are installed, connected to Wi-Fi, and then largely forgotten until you lose the remote. But here's the broader shift. Consumer devices are becoming prosumer devices. They move seamlessly between our homes and our business offices. And as that line disappears, so does the old assumption that it's just a screen. We need to take a step back and look at another layer of our security models, one that accounts for every network screen in the room. And that's our show. We'd like to thank Meter for their support in bringing you this podcast. Working with their partners, Meter designs, deploys, and manages everything required to get performant, reliable, and secure connectivity in a space. They design the hardware, the firmware, build the software, manage deployments, and run support. It's a single integrated solution that scales from branch offices, warehouses, and large...
In half a mile, turn left onto Bright Star Road.
Book a demo at meter.com/CST. That's METER.com/CST. I'm your host, Jim Love. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to the Instagram Stories for Monday, February 23rd. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. I am coming to you from a place that has almost 20 inches.
Turn left onto Bright Star Road.
The snowblower helped me out immensely. We can now go back about our lives for the most part. It's been a wild 24 hours, and also I have a little sinus thing going on, which is also exciting. However, on Mondays we talk about what the head of Instagram shared on his recent Ask Me Anything. We're going to get into some questions about reach, like if scheduling content affects your reach, if saying the words link in bio or including it in your caption affects your reach. Also, what insights there are on Instagram and how those are different from the insights that are available in the Edits app. all of that and more on today's episode. First, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Welcome back. Let's start with all the questions about reach. The first one, is saying the words link in bio bad for reach? The answer to that is no, of course not. But here's Adam's official answer.
No, saying link in bio does not hurt your reach. Now, if you're pushing something and your followers aren't interested in it or people aren't interested in it, then maybe that post would do less well, but we're not going to demote anything just because you say link in bio. There's tons of good times to do so. I do so myself from time to time, sorry.
All right, moving on to the next reach question. Does scheduling content limit my reach? The answer to that is no. You would want to schedule the content for right before your audience is likely going to be online. You can tell that through the Instagram Insights. Here's Adam's answer to the question about if scheduling content limits your reach.
No, you schedule content and it will not affect your reach.